Good afternoon. Whoa. Good afternoon, YouTube fam. So today I want to get a little real with you guys in terms of recently, everybody has bad days, right? And you guys know that, of course. That everybody has bad days, and we're all fighting something inside. That's why they always say be kind, because you never know what somebody's dealing with just on the outside. It could be all okay, and on the inside it could be a complete mess. And that is very true. Recently, here in Maine, we just lost a well-known meteorologist who seemed happy, and he happened to, commit suicide, and everyone was like, oh, well, wow. He seemed like he really loved his job and loved his kids, and, he on the outside, he just exerted happiness, and he made everybody think that he was, okay, and on the inside, he wasn't. And it blows my mind what how good people get, myself included, at hiding, keeping down our inner beast. Like I say, we all got demons, and sometimes, it gets the best of us. Those people who deal with depression, I'll try to sum it up into words for you guys. It's not something you can just turn off and turn on, and it's not something you can just fix because you have a better life than somebody else. That's why I don't like when people say, to depressed people, they say, oh, well, your life isn't that bad, or you don't have it that bad, people have it a lot worse than you. Yeah, that's true, but that you don't say that to somebody who's struggling with depression. It's weird. It could be a beautiful day out and everything could be going fine, and sometimes sometimes it's hard to get out of bed. Sometimes you can't even make it through the day without a nap, or you're just not feeling quite right. You're not all there mentally. I call it mentally rough days. Days where everything went fine, physically, but just mentally it was a rough day. It was a rough battle, and I've had those days myself, and I know that you guys have them too. And I don't know, I guess I just want to shed some light on it because it doesn't get talked about enough. You can beat this subject to death, but unless you're going through it, you're not really gonna fully understand it. Now I don't know if you guys have heard of the show 13 Reasons Why, but it just came out on Netflix. Now everyone's all about it, and obviously the main character struggling with some stuff and commits suicide, and that's a touchy subject for a lot of people, and you just never know what somebody's going through. You just never know. You could have a perfect life. It doesn't matter how good your life is. If you don't have internal happiness, if you don't find something that drives you, find something worth getting out of bed every day for, worth living for, you're not gonna make it. You're gonna be depressed. And we all have ways of fighting it, whether it's medication, or going to the gym, or playing sports, or music, playing an instrument. We all have ways of suppressing it, and sometimes those activities just aren't enough. And it's hard. It really is. it's hard for a lot of people, myself included, to go about the day and kind of just you just feel like you're trying to figure everything out and you can't. And you start thinking about little things, and they grow roots in your head, and they turn into big things, and then it just consumes you. It consumes you all around, and it's not a healthy space to be in. It's not a healthy state of mind to be in, and I think a lot more people struggle with depression than they let on, just because they're afraid or whatever it may be. But it's okay not to be okay. Dealing with depression is kind of like it's hard to know the answers, when you don't know the questions. And it's really hard to sum it up in words. Everybody has different ways, like I said, of dealing with it, and everybody has different ways that depression affects them. Myself, I just sometimes it'll just consume my whole entire day. No matter how much sleep I got, no matter what I have planned for the day, sometimes I will literally just lay in bed and, I'll sleep, or I just won't do anything, and I'll sit on my phone, and, I just can't get through the day without a nap or something, and it's like everything feels so minuscule. It's not enough for me. It's like walking around with kind of like a looming shadow. It's bigger than you a lot of days, and just know that every day is a new day, and I try not to let it get me the best of me of all my days, but sometimes it definitely does happen, and like I said, that's okay. It's okay not to be okay. And a big part of that is having a strong team around you, a nice support group to talk to when you're really feeling down. And that gets me through my days a lot of the times. And some nights I just want to go to bed as quick as I can, so I can wake up the next day and just tackle it head on. Don't let depression take you hostage, guys. Like I said, it happens, every once and again, but don't let it happen day in and day out. Fight those demons, and just tackle every day with a good new attitude. Sometimes I don't even get. Sometimes I have a to-do list, and I just can't even do it. It's weird. And I know a lot of you guys out there will agree with me. It's definitely hard to put into words. It's a strange thing. Sometimes it can literally take your whole being from you. It'll just suck the life right out of you. Your face is drawn out, and you have no emotion. And that happens. That really does happen. Even on beautiful days like today. It was a beautiful day today. I mean, yesterday, and I felt kind of the same way. It's a beautiful day today. Today I'm feeling much better, but when you are feeling like that, days like that, keep grinding. I still went to the gym, and I still did everything that I had to do, but mentally it was a rough day. Dealing with everything inside my head. You just never know what somebody's going through. You really never know. And that's the sad part about it, is a lot of people, myself included, they like to throw judgment a lot of times. I've definitely judged people right off the bat before, and I think you're lying if you say that you've never done it. A good example is when you see heavier people using those little rascal scooters in Walmart, and you just, right off the bat, sometimes you assume they're lazy and they just don't want to walk, but sometimes the case may be they might have spinal stenosis or some medical condition that leaves them, impaired or whatever, and you just never know. You never know what somebody's going through unless you talk to them, unless you really, really try to understand where they're coming from and what they're going through. And just because everyone seems okay on the outside, that's not always the case. You could be the most popular kid in school, or it happens. It doesn't discriminate. It really doesn't. Depression does not discriminate, and it'll get the best of you. A lot of times it'll get. It doesn't care, young people, old people, people in their prime, and that's what really makes, it makes it sad, is when sometimes it gets the best of people, and they end up taking their life because of it, and that's the worst part right there. It really is. And what things that might not seem like a big deal to you, to me, if I see someone walking on the street and they're, freaking out about something that I don't think is a big deal, I was like, oh, well, that's not a big deal. It might be a big deal to them. And that's what you guys really need to understand, is just because it's not a big deal to you doesn't mean that it's not somebody else's whole entire world. And it's just, it's so easy for us to judge people, to just see somebody and, the outfit they're wearing, or the way they express themselves. We're like, oh, well, he's weird, or, he looks like a bum. He looks like, you just never know what somebody's been through. People who have had it rough, they don't deserve to be judged, especially from people who have had it good. People who have it good, you really shouldn't be judging people who haven't had it well, because karma, it comes back around, and it gives you, what's due. It comes back around, and karma doesn't discriminate either, guys. It'll get you in one way or another. If it's not you directly, it'll be somebody close to you, a family member, friend. It'll get you in some way. It always does. And just to everybody out there, try to be nice and try to be kind to everybody that you meet. It's hard. I know it's hard not to hold grudges, because everybody holds a grudge at some point or other to somebody in their life, and myself included. I'm not trying to say that I'm perfect. I've held grudges before, and in the end, you always let them go, because in the grand scheme of things, this life. Life is beautiful, guys. It really is. And the best part about life is that you can do anything you want in this life. You can make anything yours. You really can. Some people, it might be hard. It might be harder for you, depending on your upbringing or whatever. But, you can still make it possible. Just like the people who have stuff handed to them. Their parents worked, and their grandparents may have worked to give them that life, to make sure that they're financially set. That's their job. They did a good job. So if you do see a rich kid who might act spoiled, it's easy to hate them, because they get everything handed to them. But that means that their parents did their job. They made sure their kid was set. Now, as far as the attitude adjustment goes, that's a different story. But I don't believe that everybody who has money and comes from a wealthy family should act like that, because like I said, one way or another, karma will come and get you. and you don't want that. You really don't. So try to pay it forward, guys, and just try not to judge people. I know it's hard. I do it, almost on the daily, and then I think to myself, you don't know what they're going through. Don't throw judgment at them. Don't throw shade at them. Don't make fun of them, because you just never know. You can make fun of somebody one time, and that could be all it takes. They could not be very mentally strong, and that's what it's all about. It's life doesn't give a shit if you're strong, like right here. It doesn't care, It doesn't care if you're strong right here. It's all about being strong in here, and I think going to the gym is a good way to prep your mind. You may be physically building your body, but you're building your mind, and you're toughening up your mind, making it stronger, and preparing it for anything that life throws at you. That's what it's all about. Some people have bad shit happen to them all the time, and they're mentally tough enough to handle it. You get somebody who might not be mentally tough, and they get one thing, and they could just drop to their knees and give up. And I'm telling you, just don't give up, and keep pounding away, and keep doing you, and try not to let the bad days get to you, because we all have bad days, and whatever it may be. But like I said, don't let it take you, and ultimately, take your life. Be strong for yourself, and if not, be strong for the people around you that love you, and hold on to those people, guys. It's all about having a strong support group, whether you're dealing with depression, anxiety, whatever it may be, whatever you do to help you, help yourself get through it, stick to that. Stick to being true to yourself, and just, I wish we could end it, but I know that's just, it's not gonna happen. And it's a terrible thing, really. It's a terrible thing sometimes, but you can't let it get to you. You can't. I know sometimes it's like you want to give up, but you just can't do it. Just don't do it, guys. Don't give up. Stay true to yourself. Stay true to what you believe in, and just tackle every day with a good attitude. And if you have a bad day, like I said, go to sleep and wake up, and just, it's like a race. You have a whole new day, a whole new 24 hours to do whatever you want. And do it with a positive attitude. Don't let it get in your head and grow roots, guys, because if it makes a home back there permanently, then it's like an alien. It gets in there, and it just it grows, and it doesn't end up good. For those of you who have seen Alien before, or any Alien movie, just, don't let it make a home, in the back of your head. Go to sleep, erase it, and, it's any day above ground, guys, is a good day. I heard somebody say it the other day when I was walking back to my house. I heard somebody say that to somebody else on the side of the road. They were like, "Hey man, why you look so down? Like, every day above ground is a good day." And it's true, as cliche as it might sound. Every day above ground it's a good day. I know it might not seem like it. Some days may suck, absolutely suck. I have days that suck. You have days that suck. Everybody has days that suck. But don't let it bring you down. Don't. You can't. Stay strong, like I said, for yourself and for the people around you that love you. But I just wanted to shed some light on the topic. If this video helped you, give it a like. Let me know what you think in the comment section. And I'll see you in the next one, guys.